Hey everyone, this is Andrew and welcome to my Intro to Synthesis course. Over the next several videos, I'm going to guide you through the basics all the way up to advanced concepts in synthesis. I'm going to show you how to control oscillators, I'm going to show you how to control filters, envelopes, LFOs, effects, other modulation sources, and much more. My goal of this series isn't necessarily just to show you how to use one particular synthesizer. The goal is that you can just walk up to any synth, software, hardware, analog, digital, whatever, and just be able to make great sounds on it no matter what. So this video is all about the overview of synthesizers. So there's a lot of different types of synthesizers on the market. This series in particular is going to focus on subtractive synthesis. And subtractive synthesis revolves around starting with a high frequency content waveform, kind of like a saw wave or a square wave or a triangle wave or even a sine wave. And you start off with all that high frequency content and then you filter it down using low pass filters or high pass filters, band pass filters, and you control it using modulation sources. So starting with the next video, we're going to be diving into an actual subtractive synthesizer, in this case software for the first one, and then from there we'll be mixing software and hardware, jumping around between different synthesizers from video to video, so that you don't just learn one instrument. You can kind of just pick up any synth and figure it out. And for the rest of this video, I'm just going to go over the different types of synthesis that exist on the market. So I already talked about subtractive synthesis, but the next kind of big overall branching topic is additive synthesis. Additive synthesis is pretty much the opposite of subtractive synthesis, if you could imagine. Subtractive synthesis is kind of analogous to like CNC milling or putting like a metal part on a lathe. And you start off with a block material and then you're trying to machine away the parts you don't want to end up with the part you do want. Additive synthesis is more like additive manufacturing, where if you think of a 3D printer, you're building up material layer by layer to make the final part that you do want. So they're kind of opposites. And additive synthesis is exactly the same. So instead of starting with a high frequency content and filtering it down to a sound that you want, you're going to start with some very basic, typically sine waves, and you're going to add them up in certain ways so that you construct the final sound that you do want. So if you ever went to school for some kind of science or engineering background, you probably covered Fourier transforms or Fourier transforms. I don't know which way to actually say it. But if you look at some images I'll throw on the screen, you can actually purely with sine waves create a square wave, and it'll sound very similar to making a actual square wave on a subtractive synthesizer. The next big category of synthesis is FM synthesis, or frequency modulation. So frequency modulation, as you might imagine, is modulating your sound via frequency. So one way that you can modulate a sound is to have the volume go up and down. So one example of that is you put a sine wave onto the amplifier of your synth, and then it'll, oscillate in volume. So instead of just being la, it'll be like la, go up and down in volume. Frequency modulation is when you're actually modulating the frequency or the pitch of the tone with another oscillator. And this can create some very, very crazy sounds, or it can create some very normal sounds. It's kind of capable of anything. And one famous example of this is the Yamaha DX7 synthesizer, I think came out in the late 80s. And if you're looking for a modern example of this, FM8 by Native Instruments is a very popular one. There's also a lot of other synthesizers that have FM capabilities built into them, even if they're not FM synthesizers. So there are a lot of other categories that are less common. I'll just cover some of them. The first example is physical modeling. Now, this is technically synthesis because you're modeling an instrument or a structure mathematically or via software using math, and you're trying to recreate what's happening in the physics to create the sound. So one popular example of this that's very basic is the Karplus-Strong algorithm. I'm not going to go into the depths of the algorithm, but in a way it's kind of simulating a string, and you have a certain way to put in an impulse to that string, which is going to excite it to oscillate at a certain frequency. And in terms of the coding and stuff, that's all DSP stuff, which is outside the scope of this video, but basically it's simulating the vibration and the movement along a string. And one more advanced modern implementation of this would be in Arturia's whole synth series of physically modeled synthesizers. So they have a physically modeled algorithm for a bunch of pianos. They have modeled algorithms for the DX7. They have it for the Mini Moog or the Model D, I forget which one. And they have it for an extensive series. And there's a lot of this coming out nowadays because, over the years, as computers get more and more powerful, you get more ability to actually model the intricate details of these instruments. So the models are getting much better over the years. Wavetable synthesis is kind of another implementation of different types of synthesis. So in a lot of implementations, it is actually a subtractive synthesizer. But instead of starting with either a digital or software reconstruction of a wave, you're storing all the values of a wave at some discrete sampled interval. And then you just play back that table of values to reconstruct the sound. And the cool thing about wavetables is that they don't necessarily just have to be a static sound. So if you think of a 2D graph where you just might have a wave drawn on an XY plane, you can extrude that out to add depth or like a Z dimension. And you can have, instead of just a line, you can have a contour or a surface plot. And wavetable instruments allow you to morph between this surface. And so what happens is you get a continuously varying waveform that you can modulate with various modulation sources. LA synthesis, or linear arithmetic synthesis, involves getting a sample or wavetable start. So you're kind of reconstructing just the attack portion of a certain sound, and then the rest of the sound you construct using a normal synthesized waveform, like an additive sound or whatever. This was made popular in the vintage D50 instrument, or the modern day implementation, the D05 by Roland. And it sounds very cool because you get a very nice kind of organic sound when you hit the instrument on the attack. And then for the rest of it, you get, in a lot of cases, a dreamy kind of pad. So it's a good hybrid way to make essentially a sample instrument, but without having to store the mass amount of files. Because a lot of the times the attack, if you think of the case of a violin or guitar, the attack sound is what really defines the character of the instrument. The vibrating tone afterwards, that's easy to simulate via synthesis, but all those dynamics that happen at the beginning are very hard to simulate via synthesis or even physical model. So this definitely isn't an exhaustive list of the different types of synthesis. If you look at some modern day implementations like Diva by Yu He, I think I'm saying the name right, they have some kind of popular phase distortion synthesis. And then if you look into modular synthesizers, you'll see them being very explorative in the types of synthesis that they mix in just in one patch. And a lot of companies are kind of just inventing their own little types of synthesis, and sometimes they're very innovative and new, and sometimes they're just very small tweaks. Like one example, the qubit scanned module, that's kind of like a physical modeling algorithm, which you would normally use to reconstruct an acoustic instrument, except they're applying it to synthesis. So they're not trying to emulate anything real. They're trying to give you a bunch of sculpting tools to essentially create physical modeling for a synthesis. Now, they didn't invent it, but they're kind of the first hardware implementation of it, and they do credit the guy or the individual who actually invented the concept back in the day. All right, so I think that's just about it for now. In the next video in this series, I'm going to be covering the basics of synthesis on an actual software subtractive synthesizer. So in that video, I'm going to give you an overview of all the basic controls. I'm going to show you how oscillators work, how it affects the frequency content of the waveform. I'm going to show you how the filtering works and how that affects the frequency content of the waveform, how to apply an envelope or a contour, an ADSR to your sound to control the volume and the actual application of your filter onto your waveform, glide controls, noise, and a little bit more. And then in the future videos, we'll take it from there and get more and more advanced as the series progresses. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, consider subscribing for more. Don't forget to ring that bell to stay notified when the next video comes out, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.